Good evening and welcome. Tonight, we'll leave behind the familiar comforts of the modern world and step into a quieter time. A time before engines, before electric lights, before maps glowed in the palms of our hands. Instead, our path will be guided by lanterns, the stars above, and the steady footsteps of a patient caravan. You don't need to stay awake until the end of this journey. In fact, I hope you won't. If sleep quietly finds you somewhere along the road, then our little adventure has served its purpose.
Before we begin, where are you listening from and what time is it there? Let me know in the comments. Now, let's begin tonight's journey.
Make yourself comfortable. Let your shoulders become just a little heavier. Take one slow breath in and gently let it go. Now, imagine the cool air of an early morning brushing softly against your face. The world is still wrapped in darkness, not the deep darkness of midnight, but that peaceful hour just before sunrise, when even the busiest places seem to whisper instead of speak. You are standing in Chang'an, one of the greatest cities of the ancient world. More than 1,000 years ago, this remarkable city welcomed travelers from distant kingdoms. Merchants, scholars, monks, musicians, and explorers all passed through its gates, each carrying stories as valuable as the goods strapped to their wagons. But for now, none of that feels hurried. A single lantern hangs outside the wooden inn where you spent the night. Its golden light sways gently in the cool breeze. Somewhere in the distance a temple bell rings, low, slow, peaceful. The streets are beginning to wake, not with loud voices or rushing crowds, but with quiet footsteps. A merchant rolls up a woven sleeping mat. Another carefully folds thick wool blankets. Wooden wheels creak softly as a cart is pushed across smooth stone. Nearby, someone stirs a pot of warm millet porridge over a tiny fire. The gentle aroma drifts through the cool morning air. Fresh bread, warm tea, a hint of smoke from yesterday's firewood. Everything feels calm, measured, unhurried. Before long, you'll leave these city walls behind and begin a journey that stretches farther than you can imagine. The road ahead crosses deserts where the wind shapes endless dunes, mountains capped with snow, quiet valleys, and bustling market towns where dozens of languages mingle in the air. But all of that can wait. For now, the sun has not yet risen. The lantern still glows, the city still whispers, and somewhere beyond the eastern rooftops, morning is slowly making its way toward you. As the first pale light begins to touch the rooftops of Chang'an, someone outside softly calls that the caravan is almost ready to depart. And with one final glance at the peaceful city, you quietly step toward the waiting camels. The first light of dawn spreads slowly across the rooftops of Chang'an. The sky, once deep blue, begins to soften into shades of pale silver, then gentle gold. The lanterns that guided the night are quietly extinguished, one by one, their warm glow giving way to the morning. Ahead of you, just beyond the city gate, the caravan waits patiently. Not in perfect rows, not with military precision, but with the quiet confidence of people who have made this journey many times before. The camels kneel on the packed earth, their long legs folded neatly beneath them. They seem in no hurry, blinking slowly as if they understand that the road ahead is long enough without rushing the beginning. One of the merchants pats the neck of a camel with the familiarity of an old friend. Another carefully checks a leather strap. Nearby, someone tightens a knot with practiced hands. Every movement is calm, deliberate, almost meditative. Long before trains, cargo ships, or airplanes, journeys like this depended on careful preparation. A single loose rope, a cracked water jar, or an overloaded camel could become a serious problem weeks later when the nearest village was many days behind you. So every bundle is inspected, every knot is tested, every load is balanced. You notice that not every bundle contains silk. That surprises you. The Silk Road earned its famous name because silk was one of its most valuable treasures, but the caravans carried far more than shimmering cloth. Bundles of tea leaves are wrapped tightly to keep them dry. Small sacks of fragrant spices release faint scents of cinnamon, cloves, and pepper into the cool morning air. Delicate porcelain bowls are cushioned with layers of straw. Rolls of fine paper are packed inside wooden cases. There are medicines made from dried herbs, carved pieces of jade, and even simple everyday tools that people in distant lands could not easily make themselves. The road carries not only luxury, but necessity. Your eyes return to the camels. These are Bactrian camels, easily recognized by the two large humps rising from their backs. Unlike their one-humped cousins of hotter deserts, these remarkable animals are perfectly suited for the varied landscapes ahead. Their thick coats keep them warm during freezing mountain nights. Their broad feet help them walk across soft sand without sinking too deeply. They can carry heavy loads for astonishing distances, all while asking for very little in return. It is no wonder they became the quiet heroes of the Silk Road. A gentle breeze stirs the tassels hanging from one saddle. Tiny bronze bells give a soft, delicate chime, not loud enough to disturb the morning, just enough to remind you that the journey is real, that soon, very soon, these quiet sounds will become the rhythm of your days. One by one, the merchants finish their preparations. Water skins are secured, bundles are counted once more, a final cup of warm tea is shared in comfortable silence. Nobody seems eager to leave, yet nobody wishes to delay. There is a peaceful understanding among everyone gathered here. The road will wait for no one, but it asks no one to hurry. The leader of the caravan raises a hand. No grand speech, no shouted command, just a quiet signal. The first camel slowly rises to its feet, then another and another. Leather straps creak gently. Bells whisper with each careful step. Behind you, the magnificent city of Chang'an begins to fade into the morning mist. The caravan begins to move. Not all at once, but one gentle step at a time. The first camel places its broad foot onto the dusty road, then another. Soon, the quiet rhythm of dozens of slow footsteps fills the morning air. Soft, steady, Unhurried, you walk alongside the caravan, matching its peaceful pace. There is no reason to hurry. In fact, hurrying would only tire both you and the animals before the day had truly begun. So everyone settles into the same comfortable rhythm. Step, step, step. The tiny bronze bells hanging from the camels' harnesses chime softly with each movement. Not loudly, not constantly, just enough to blend with the sound of leather straps gently creaking and the whisper of the morning breeze. Behind you, the mighty walls of Chang'an slowly grow smaller. The city's rooftops disappear into a thin veil of morning mist. The temple bells can no longer be heard. The scent of fresh bread drifting from the bakeries fades into memory. Only the open road remains. Although many people imagine the Silk Road as a single path stretching from east to west, it was never just one road. Instead, it was a great network of countless trails, mountain passes, river crossings, and desert routes connecting civilizations across thousands of miles. Some paths were busy, others were quiet enough that a traveler might walk for days before meeting another caravan. The road was always changing. Storms buried familiar tracks beneath drifting sand. Mountain snow closed certain passes for months. New settlements appeared. Old ones quietly disappeared. Every journey was slightly different from the last. The morning sun climbs a little higher. Its warmth slowly reaches the road beneath your feet. Wild grasses sway gently beside the path. A pair of small birds flutter across the open fields before disappearing into the trees. Nearby, farmers are already awake. Some guide sturdy oxen through freshly turned soil. Others carry woven baskets filled with vegetables toward nearby villages. A few pause for a moment to watch the caravan pass. For them, this is not an unusual sight. For generations, caravans have come and gone, each carrying goods, ideas, languages, and stories toward distant horizons. You notice how quietly everyone travels. Conversations are brief. No one wastes their breath. Experienced travelers understand that long journeys reward patience far more than speed. There will be many hours for talking later, perhaps around the evening fire, when the stars have taken the place of the sun. For now, the road asks only for steady footsteps. One of the camels turns its head for just a moment, blinking slowly, as though checking that everyone is still together. Its thick coat catches the morning light, glowing softly like brushed gold. Tiny clouds of dust rise with every step before settling gently back onto the road. The world feels peaceful, simple, almost timeless. As the hours pass, the sounds of the city are replaced by something quieter. The wind, the leather harnesses, the occasional bell, the soft rustle of clothing. Even silence seems different here. It is not empty. It is full of space. Space to think, or perhaps not to think at all. Far ahead, the road bends gently toward low rolling hills. Beyond them lie rivers, ancient watchtowers, and the first true test of every traveler who dreams of crossing the Silk Road. But there is no need to think about tomorrow. Today, there is only this peaceful morning. One step, then another, and another still. The journey has only just begun. By late morning, the green fields have quietly slipped behind you. The gentle hills are now little more than distant shapes on the horizon. The road ahead begins to change, almost without noticing. The earth beneath your feet becomes lighter, drier, softer. The wind carries fewer scents now. No fresh bread, no damp grass, only warm sand and the clean, open air of a land that stretches farther than the eye can see. You have entered the edge of the great desert, not a place of endless dunes in every direction, but a landscape of wide, rocky plains, golden earth, scattered shrubs, and ribbons of sand shaped by centuries of gentle wind. The caravan does not hesitate. Its pace never changes. Step, step, step. The camels have walked these lands countless times before. If they could speak, perhaps they would tell stories older than empires. The sun climbs higher. Its warmth settles comfortably across your shoulders. A wide-brimmed hat shields your face. Loose robes move gently with every breeze, allowing cool air to pass beneath the fabric. The travelers know that comfort here is not found by fighting the desert, but by moving with it, accepting its rhythm, walking when it is wise, resting when the day grows too warm. One of the merchants points toward a line of weathered wooden posts standing far apart in the distance. To unfamiliar eyes, they may seem unimportant, but to travelers, they are reassuring landmarks. For centuries, markers like these quietly guided caravans across immense landscapes where one stretch of land could easily resemble the next. Long before modern maps, the road was remembered through experience, through memory, through the stories passed from one traveler to another. As the hours drift by, you begin to notice something unexpected. The desert is not silent. Far from it. The breeze whispers across tiny grains of sand. The leather saddles creak softly. The camels breathe with slow, steady rhythm. Occasionally, a distant bird circles high above, before disappearing into the brilliant blue sky. Every sound feels gentle, as though the desert itself wishes not to disturb your thoughts. Looking down, you notice the footprints left behind by the caravan. Human footprints, camel footprints, tiny patterns pressed into the warm earth. For a little while, they remain. Then, a soft breeze begins its patient work. Grain by grain, the desert smooths the road once again, as if quietly reminding every traveler that no journey lasts forever. Yet somehow, the road always remains. Around midday, the caravan pauses beside a cluster of low rocks, not because anyone is exhausted, but because experienced travelers respect the desert. Water skins are carefully untied. Each person drinks slowly. No one wastes a single drop. The camels kneel once again, closing their eyes as they rest. Some of the merchants unwrap flatbread, a few dried dates, and small pieces of hard cheese. The meal is simple, but after hours of walking beneath the open sky, it tastes wonderfully satisfying. No one speaks very much. There is no need. The silence is comfortable. The breeze says enough. The fire from the morning has become only a memory, but the warmth of the sun now takes its place. Time itself seems to slow. Minutes drift into one another. The road asks for nothing more than patience. And patience is something the Silk Road has always understood. As the sun begins its slow journey toward the western sky, the caravan rises once more. The shadows grow just a little longer. Far ahead, something catches the light. A small line of green, almost hidden against the endless earth. Perhaps, just perhaps, it is water, and where there is water, there are stories waiting to be told. The line of green on the horizon grows a little clearer with every passing step. At first, it seemed almost like a trick of the light, a shimmer dancing above the warm earth. But now, there can be little doubt. Tall date palms sway gently in the afternoon breeze. Their leaves catch the sunlight, flashing silver and green against the endless shades of gold surrounding them. After hours beneath the open sky, the sight feels almost magical. Yet to those who travel these roads, it is simply another welcome friend, an oasis, a quiet promise that water, shade, and rest are never too far away for those who travel with patience. The caravan slows, not because anyone gives an order, but because everyone seems to understand that there is no reason to rush the final few steps. The camels lower their heads slightly, almost as if they, too, recognize the familiar place. Soon, the dry earth beneath your feet gives way to softer soil. Small patches of green grass appear beneath the palms. The air feels cooler. A gentle breeze carries the scent of fresh water and growing plants. For the first time since leaving the countryside beyond Chang'an, you hear the cheerful sound of birds singing from the trees above. The oasis is alive, quietly alive. Nearby, a narrow stream slips between smooth stones, its clear water reflecting the afternoon sun. A few children fill clay jars while laughing softly among themselves. An elderly man patiently repairs a woven basket beneath the shade of a large palm. Two women spread freshly washed cloth across smooth rocks to dry in the warm air. Nothing feels hurried. Life simply unfolds, one peaceful moment after another. Just beyond the grove of trees stands a large stone building. Its walls are thick. Its wooden gate stands wide open. Simple banners move gently in the breeze above the entrance. This is a caravanserai, a resting place built especially for travelers. For centuries, thousands upon thousands of merchants, pilgrims, scholars, and explorers have found shelter in places just like this. Long before modern hotels, these welcoming courtyards became little islands of comfort along one of the world's longest trade routes. As you step inside the gate, the sounds of the desert soften. A spacious courtyard opens before you. Camels kneel peacefully along one wall, while stable hands carefully remove their heavy loads. Bundles of silk are stacked neatly beneath covered walkways. Clay jars filled with cool water stand ready for weary travelers. The smell of fresh bread drifts from a nearby kitchen. Someone is baking flatbread inside a stone oven. Another cook slowly stirs a large pot of vegetable stew. Its gentle aroma fills the cool afternoon air. Your stomach reminds you that the simple meal from earlier has long since disappeared. A smiling cook tears a piece of warm bread and places it into your hands. It is soft, still warm from the oven. You dip it into the fragrant stew. Carrots, lentils, onions, a few gentle herbs. Nothing extravagant, nothing rare. Yet somehow it feels like the finest meal in the world. Perhaps food always tastes better after a long walk beneath the open sky. Nearby, travelers from distant lands quietly share the courtyard. Some speak languages you've never heard before. Others communicate with nothing more than warm smiles and patient gestures. One merchant carefully unwraps beautiful blue glass from the west. Another displays polished jade from the east. A scholar sits beneath an archway, slowly copying words onto fresh paper with a delicate brush. No one argues. No one raises their voice. Everyone seems to understand that tomorrow the road will call them onward once again. But tonight, they all belong to the same quiet refuge. As the afternoon slowly melts toward evening, golden sunlight spills across the courtyard stones. Long shadows stretch beneath the palm trees. The breeze grows cooler. One by one, small oil lamps are lit beneath the covered walkways. Their gentle light flickers against ancient walls that have watched countless sunsets over countless generations. You take one final drink from the cool stone well. The water is clear, refreshing, almost impossibly sweet after the long road. The camels have finished resting. Their loads are balanced once more. The merchants gather quietly near the gate. Soon, the journey will continue, but for a little while longer. The peaceful oasis remains behind you like a pleasant dream. Ahead, the road leads deeper into the heart of the Silk Road, toward cities where countless cultures meet, and where every marketplace tells a different story. The morning arrives quietly. The caravan leaves the peaceful shelter of the caravanserais just as the first rays of sunlight begin warming the ancient stone walls. The oasis slowly disappears behind you. The palm trees become smaller, then smaller still, until they blend gently into the horizon. Ahead, the road feels different. More travelers now walk in both directions. Some lead donkeys carrying woven baskets. Others ride sturdy horses. Several caravans pass peacefully, each carrying treasures from distant lands. One merchant offers a friendly wave as he walks by. Another tips his hat before continuing west. No introductions are needed. Everyone understands the road. Everyone belongs to it. As the hours pass, the landscape slowly changes once again. The endless desert gives way to rolling grasslands. Small streams wind across the countryside. Wildflowers dance gently beneath the breeze. In the distance, large walls begin to appear. At first, they seem like another line upon the horizon, but step after step, they become clearer, taller, more magnificent. Finally, You arrive before one of the greatest cities the ancient world has ever known, Samarkand, even after centuries. Its name still carries a quiet sense of wonder. For travelers along the Silk Road, this city was much more than another stop. It was a meeting place for civilizations, people from China, Persia, India, the Middle East, and lands even farther west, all gathered here, not to conquer, not to fight, but to trade, to learn, to share ideas. You pass beneath an enormous stone gateway decorated with brilliant blue tiles. The afternoon sun catches every glazed surface. The walls almost seem to glow. Inside, the city hums with gentle life. Wide streets stretch between elegant buildings. Colorful fabrics hang from wooden balconies. The scent of warm bread drifts from nearby ovens. Somewhere nearby, someone plays a quiet melody on a reed flute. Its soft notes drift lazily through the market air. You walk slowly through the marketplace. There is no reason to hurry. Every corner offers something fascinating. Bright red spices stacked like tiny mountains. Golden honey shining inside clay jars. Fresh figs arranged carefully upon woven baskets. Silk fabrics flowing gently in the breeze like colorful rivers. A glassmaker carefully shapes glowing molten glass. A carpet weaver patiently ties one tiny knot after another. A calligrapher bends over smooth paper, each careful brushstroke placed with extraordinary patience. Watching them, you begin to understand something. The Silk Road was never only about things. It was about people. Every object carried a story. Every traveler carried knowledge. Every meeting quietly changed the world. Little by little, one conversation, one shared meal, one friendship at a time. As evening slowly approaches, golden sunlight pours across the rooftops. Pigeons circle above the great domes. The marketplace becomes quieter. Merchants carefully cover their goods. Children laugh softly while chasing each other across the square. The day's warmth begins to fade. Soon, another peaceful night awaits. And somewhere beyond this remarkable city, the mountains are already watching, waiting patiently for every traveler brave enough to cross them. The morning arrives with a welcome coolness. Long before the sun has climbed above the horizon, you awaken to the quiet sounds of another day on the Silk Road. Someone nearby gently stirs the glowing embers of last night's fire. A small kettle is placed above the flames. Soon, the comforting aroma of warm tea drifts through the crisp mountain air. The desert warmth now feels like a distant memory. The world around you has changed once again. The road begins to rise, slowly, almost so gently that you hardly notice it at first. The grass beneath your feet grows thicker. Small wild flowers appear beside the path. The breeze carries the scent of pine trees and fresh earth. Somewhere nearby, a stream tumbles over smooth stones. Its quiet song follows the caravan as faithfully as the camel bells. The mountains stand ahead, patient, silent, unmoving. Their snow-covered peaks catch the first golden light of morning, glowing softly against the pale blue sky. For thousands of years, travelers have looked upon these same mountains with the very same feeling. Not fear, respect. The Silk Road did not simply cross deserts. It crossed rivers, forests, steep valleys, and mountain ranges that seemed to touch the heavens themselves. The caravan slows, not because the animals are tired, but because steep roads ask for steady feet rather than hurried ones. Each camel carefully chooses where to place its next step. Stone after stone, one careful movement at a time. Watching them, you begin to understand why these gentle animals were trusted more than almost any other companion on the journey. They never rushed. They never wasted energy. They simply continued forward, patiently, quietly, one step after another. The air becomes cooler. You pull your cloak a little closer around your shoulders. A cloud drifts lazily across the sun. For a few peaceful moments, the entire valley is wrapped in soft shade. A shepherd appears on a nearby hillside. His flock of sheep grazes quietly among the wild grasses. A large mountain dog watches the caravan from a respectful distance. The shepherd raises one hand in greeting. You return the gesture with a smile. No words are exchanged. None are needed. The road has its own language. As the morning passes, the caravan reaches a narrow stone bridge crossing a clear mountain stream. The water is so transparent that every smooth pebble resting beneath its surface can be seen. The camels pause for a drink. Tiny ripples spread gently across the water. A few birds flutter down to the stream's edge before lifting gracefully into the cool mountain air. You kneel beside the water, splashing a little onto your face. It feels wonderfully cold, fresh, pure, Perhaps it has flowed down from distant snowfields high above the clouds. The journey continues. The path now winds between towering cliffs. Wild mountain herbs grow from tiny cracks in the stone. Bright patches of moss cover shaded rocks beside the trail. The only sounds are the gentle footsteps of the caravan, the soft breeze moving through pine branches, and the distant cry of an eagle soaring high above. The silence here feels different from the desert. There, silence was wide, endless. Here, silence is protected, held gently between the mountains themselves. By late afternoon, the highest part of the pass finally lies behind you. The road begins to descend. Far below, a broad green valley stretches toward the horizon. A silver river winds peacefully through fields and forests. Small villages rest beside its banks. Thin trails of smoke rise from chimneys into the still evening air. Somewhere down there, another warm meal waits. Another quiet fire. Another peaceful night beneath unfamiliar stars. The mountains have welcomed you, and now they gently let you pass. The path down from the mountains is gentle. With every careful step, the air grows a little warmer. The scent of pine slowly fades, replaced by the sweet fragrance of wild grasses carried on the evening breeze. The valley stretches peacefully before you. Fields of wheat ripple like quiet waves beneath the fading sunlight. Small orchards rest beside winding streams. A farmer guides 2 oxen toward a wooden barn. Children wave as the caravan passes. A dog lifts its head for a moment, then curls back into the grass for another peaceful nap. Life here follows the rhythm of the seasons. The arrival of a caravan is something welcome, but never surprising. For generations, travelers have walked this same road, bringing silk, tea, paper, stories, and carrying home entirely different treasures in return. As the afternoon slowly melts into evening, the leader of the caravan quietly chooses a place to stop. Not a village, not another caravanserai, just an open meadow beside a gently flowing river. The grass is soft beneath your feet. A line of tall poplar trees offers shelter from the evening breeze. Nearby, the river moves without hurry. Its surface reflects the golden colors of the sinking sun. One by one, the camels kneel upon the grass. The heavy packs are carefully lifted from their backs. Leather straps are loosened. Water buckets are filled from the river. No one rushes. After so many days together, everyone knows exactly what to do. Someone gathers dry branches from beneath the trees. Another arranges smooth stones into a small circle. A spark catches, then another. Soon, a quiet fire begins to glow. Its warm orange light dances softly across the faces of the travelers. The first stars appear, not many at first, just one, then another, until the evening sky begins to fill with tiny points of light. Far from the great cities, the heavens seem almost endless. Without the glow of lanterns or busy streets, the stars shine with remarkable clarity. Ancient travelers often relied upon them. Long before compasses became common, the night sky served as a faithful guide. Certain stars marked the changing seasons. Others helped caravans keep their direction across vast open lands where roads sometimes disappeared beneath shifting sand. You look upward. The stars seem so close, as though they could almost be reached with an outstretched hand. A gentle breeze stirs the leaves above. The river continues its quiet song. The fire crackles softly. Someone pours warm tea into small clay cups. Steam curls slowly into the cool evening air. The tea is simple, earthy, comforting. Its warmth spreads gently through your hands. Nearby, one of the older merchants begins telling a story, not loudly, almost in a whisper. He speaks of journeys made many years ago, of crossing snowy passes, of great cities beyond the western deserts, of friends met along the road and remembered for a lifetime. You don't hear every word, nor do you need to. The sound of his calm voice becomes just another part of the evening, like the river, like the fire, like the breeze moving through the trees. The camels settle quietly nearby. Occasionally, one lets out a long, gentle sigh before returning to peaceful silence. The glowing embers rise into the night as tiny sparks, floating upward until they disappear among the stars above. You find yourself wondering how many countless travelers have looked upon this very same sky. 1,000 years ago, someone may have sat exactly where you are now, holding a warm cup of tea, listening to the river, watching the fire, waiting for tomorrow's journey. The thought feels strangely comforting. Some things change. Empires rise and fall. Cities grow. Roads disappear. Yet the stars continue their patient journey across the heavens, just as they always have, just as they always will. The fire burns a little lower now. The conversations become quieter. Blankets are unfolded. Simple beds are prepared beneath the open sky. Tomorrow, the road will continue. There will be new towns, new travelers, new stories. But tonight, there is nowhere else to be. Only here, beside a peaceful river, beneath an endless sky, surrounded by the quiet company of fellow travelers. And above you, 1,000,000 silent stars keep watch until morning. The first light of dawn arrives quietly, long before the sun rises above the eastern hills. The sky begins to soften. Deep shades of midnight blue slowly give way to silver. The stars, one by one, fade into the brightening morning. The camp is still. The fire has become a circle of warm ash, with only a few glowing embers hidden beneath the gray. A faint ribbon of smoke drifts upward before disappearing into the cool air. Somewhere nearby, a bird sings the very first note of the day. Then another answers. Soon, the valley is gently awake. The river flows just as it did through the night, patient, steady, unchanging. You unfold your blanket and stretch slowly. The morning air feels fresh against your face. Nearby, one of the merchants pours water into a small copper kettle. Another quietly grinds tea leaves with a smooth stone. Within minutes, the familiar scent of warm tea drifts through the camp once again. It has become one of the quiet comforts of the journey. Simple, reliable, always welcome. The caravan begins preparing for another day. Leather straps are checked. Bundles are counted. Water skins are filled. The camels rise one after another with slow, familiar movements. They blink lazily in the morning light, as though they too enjoyed the peaceful night's rest. No one speaks very much. There is no need. Everyone knows the rhythm now. After many days together, the caravan moves almost like a single living thing, steady, patient, always forward. By mid-morning, the road follows the gentle curve of the river. Ahead, a small town begins to appear. Its walls are modest, its buildings low and built from sun-dried brick. Thin trails of smoke rise from dozens of chimneys. A wooden bridge crosses the river, leading toward an open square where colorful cloth can already be seen fluttering in the breeze. Market day has begun. As you enter the town, life unfolds at its own peaceful pace. A baker carefully removes warm loaves from a clay oven. The rich aroma fills the narrow streets. A potter arranges freshly fired bowls upon a wooden table. A woman sells baskets overflowing with figs, grapes, almonds, and fresh herbs. Nearby, a carpenter gently smooths the edge of a wooden chair with slow, practiced strokes. Nothing here feels rushed. People greet one another with quiet smiles. Neighbors stop to exchange a few gentle words before continuing on their way. Children help carry baskets far too large for their small arms, laughing whenever a few apples tumble onto the dusty road. An elderly man sits beneath a fig tree, repairing worn sandals. Every careful stitch reminds you that in the ancient world, people repaired what they owned: shoes, clothing, pots, furniture. Nothing useful was thrown away simply because it had become old. Objects were expected to live long lives, just as people hoped to. You continue walking through the market. The sounds are wonderfully gentle. Wooden wheels rolling across packed earth. The quiet murmur of conversation. Goats wandering lazily between stalls. The occasional ringing of a tiny handbell as a merchant welcomes customers. No shouting, no hurry, only the comfortable rhythm of everyday life. You notice something familiar. A merchant carefully unfolds bolts of fine silk. Their smooth surface catches the morning sunlight. People gather quietly to admire the delicate fabric. Many will never travel to distant China themselves. Yet through these simple threads, a small part of that faraway world has arrived here. That was the true wonder of the Silk Road. It carried more than goods. It carried pieces of distant lives, a spice from one kingdom, a story from another, a new idea, a new recipe, a different way of weaving cloth, or growing fruit, or writing words upon paper. The world became a little smaller, one peaceful meeting at a time. As the sun climbs higher, the caravan slowly leaves the little town behind. The baker returns to his oven, the potter to his wheel, the children to their games. Life continues exactly as it did yesterday, and exactly as it will tomorrow. The market grows quieter in the distance. Its gentle sounds fade into the breeze. Ahead, the road stretches onward once more, and somewhere beyond the next hill, another quiet chapter of the journey is waiting. Morning slowly gives way to afternoon. The gentle sounds of the market fade behind you, until they become only another pleasant memory carried by the wind. The road ahead feels wider now. Open fields stretch toward distant hills. Here and there, small clusters of trees cast welcome patches of shade upon the earth. The caravan moves with its familiar Step, step, step. The steady footsteps have become so constant that you hardly notice them anymore. Instead, they simply become part of the world around you, like breathing, like the breeze, like the passing clouds overhead. As the sun climbs higher, you notice something curious. The road is not marked by signs. There are no painted arrows, no milestones, no maps tucked into a traveler's pocket. And yet, no one seems uncertain about where to go. For much of history, the Silk Road was guided not by paper, but by people. Experienced caravan leaders carried the road in their memories. They remembered which valleys flooded after heavy rain, which wells remained full during dry summers, which mountain passes stayed open the longest, and which villages welcomed strangers with kindness. That knowledge could not easily be written down. It was learned, slowly, journey after journey, sometimes over an entire lifetime. Ahead, the caravan reaches a fork in the road. One path follows the river. The other climbs gently toward distant hills. The leader pauses, not for long. He studies the sky. He looks at the shape of the land, then quietly chooses the higher road. No discussion follows. The others simply nod, trusting the judgment of someone who has walked these paths many times before. You realize that trust was one of the most valuable things carried along the Silk Road, more valuable than silk, more precious than spices. Without trust, no caravan could travel very far. Not trust in luck, but trust built through years of experience. The afternoon breeze grows a little stronger. It bends the tall grasses into gentle waves. Wildflowers sway peacefully beside the trail. A butterfly drifts lazily across the road, landing for a moment on a small white blossom before disappearing into the meadow. The world seems wonderfully unhurried. Hours pass almost without notice. The sun slowly moves across the sky. Cloud shadows drift silently over the hills. Now and then, another caravan appears in the distance. Sometimes they are carrying wool, sometimes salt, sometimes baskets filled with dried fruit or polished pottery. Whenever two caravans meet, the travelers slow their pace. Friendly greetings are exchanged. Questions about the road ahead are quietly shared. Is the river crossing clear? How deep is the mountain snow? Has the old bridge been repaired? Simple conversations, yet they could save days of difficult travel, perhaps even lives. Then With warm smiles and respectful bows, each caravan continues on its own journey. Soon, the only sound is the soft whisper of the wind once again. You begin to notice the changing light. The bright afternoon sun has softened. Everything around you is painted in warmer colors now. Golden grass, amber hills, long shadows stretching peacefully across the road. Somewhere ahead, a shepherd's flute drifts gently through the evening air. The melody is slow, uncomplicated. It rises, then fades, carried away by the breeze almost as soon as it arrives. You never see the shepherd, only hear the quiet music for a few moments. Then silence returns. Perhaps that is enough. Not every beautiful thing needs to stay. The caravan continues until the first cool breath of evening touches the air. Another place to rest will soon be found. Another fire will be lit. Another peaceful night will arrive beneath unfamiliar stars. And tomorrow, the ancient road will quietly unfold once again. One step after another, another gentle morning begins. The first light slips quietly over the hills, painting the fields in soft shades of gold. Tiny drops of dew cling to the tall grass. As the caravan passes, the grass brushes gently against your boots, leaving behind cool traces of the night. The air feels wonderfully fresh. Every breath carries the scent of earth, wild herbs, and distant trees slowly warming beneath the rising sun. The road is peaceful. Only the quiet footsteps of the camels, the soft creak of leather, and the occasional whisper of a bronze bell accompany the morning. Hours pass without hurry. The landscape changes so gradually that you hardly notice. Fields become orchards. Orchards become small villages. Villages slowly give way to another city, smaller than Samarkand, yet no less welcoming. Its walls are built from pale stone. Its streets are narrow, shaded by tall wooden balconies that almost seem to lean toward one another. Cool air lingers between the buildings. The sounds here are gentle, a distant hammer tapping against wood, someone sweeping a stone courtyard, water trickling quietly through narrow channels carved beside the streets. The caravan enters slowly. There is no bustling marketplace today. Instead, the city seems devoted to quieter work. Near the center of town, you notice a modest building with carved wooden doors standing open. Several people quietly enter carrying rolled papers tied with silk cords. Others leave holding carefully wrapped books against their chests. You follow them inside. The room is cool, peaceful, filled with the comforting scent of paper, leather, wood, and ink. Shelves line every wall, not crowded, but carefully arranged. Each scroll, each handwritten book has been placed with patience and respect. Long before printing presses filled libraries with thousands of identical copies, every single page was written by hand, hour after hour, day after day. Sometimes an entire year was spent copying a single book. A young scribe sits near the window. Morning sunlight falls gently across the wooden desk. With extraordinary care, he dips his reed pen into dark ink, then writes one graceful letter after another. He never rushes. If the pen slips, the page must often be started again. Patience is simply part of the work. Nearby, an older scholar carefully unrolls an ancient scroll. Its edges have softened with age. Its ink has faded slightly, yet the words remain. Perhaps they have already survived hundreds of years. Perhaps they will survive hundreds more. Along the Silk Road, books traveled just as people did. A story written in one kingdom might be read in another many months later. A medical idea could cross mountains. A poem could travel across deserts. A mathematical discovery might quietly change lives far beyond the place where it was first imagined. The road carried wisdom just as faithfully as it carried silk. You wander slowly between the shelves. Some books are written in languages you cannot read. Others are beautifully illustrated with delicate paintings of flowers, birds, stars, and distant cities. Even without understanding every word, the pages themselves feel comforting, quiet reminders that people have always wished to preserve their thoughts, their discoveries, and their dreams. A window stands open near the back of the library. Outside, a small garden rests in complete silence. A fountain trickles gently into a round stone basin. White flowers bloom beneath fruit trees. A single cat sleeps peacefully in a patch of warm sunlight. Nothing disturbs the stillness. Not even time itself seems eager to move. Eventually, you thank the librarian with a gentle smile. He returns the smile with a respectful bow. No words are needed. Some places speak softly enough on their own. Stepping back into the morning light, you find the caravan already waiting. The camels stand patiently beside the quiet street. Their journey is not yet finished. Neither is yours. There are still rivers to follow, gentle hills to cross, and many peaceful miles waiting beneath the open sky. The ancient road stretches onward, as calm as ever. The afternoon sun hangs low above the western hills. Its bright light has softened into a warm golden glow. Everything around you seems painted in gentle shades of amber. The road stretches quietly ahead, neither beginning nor ending, simply continuing. The caravan has traveled many peaceful miles today. The camels walk as steadily as ever. Their familiar footsteps have become almost like the ticking of an ancient clock. Slow, patient, always moving forward. A cool breeze drifts across the fields. Tall grasses sway together like waves upon a calm sea. Somewhere nearby, a lark sings for a few moments before disappearing into the endless blue sky. The sound fades gently, leaving only silence behind. Ahead, a square stone tower rises above the landscape. Then another. Soon, thick walls come into view, a familiar sight. Another caravanserai. Its broad wooden gates stand open. Travelers from many different lands arrive throughout the afternoon. Some have journeyed only a few days. Others have been upon the road for many months. A caravan from the west slowly enters the courtyard. Their horses carry woven carpets rolled with great care. Another group arrives from the south with baskets filled with fragrant spices. A pair of monks walk quietly beside a small donkey, carrying nothing more than blankets and a few simple books. Though their journeys are different, for tonight everyone shares the same shelter. Inside the courtyard, life moves gently. A stable hand fills wooden troughs with fresh water. Camels drink slowly. A blacksmith quietly repairs a worn horseshoe beneath a shaded awning. The steady rhythm of his hammer is soft, never hurried. Nearby, a woman kneads dough upon a broad wooden table. Children help shape small round loaves before placing them into a warm clay oven. The smell of fresh bread slowly fills the courtyard. It mingles with the scent of cedar firewood. Warm soup and clean straw spread across the stables. The evening meal is simple. Steaming barley soup, fresh bread, goat cheese, olives, a handful of dried apricots, clay cups filled with cool water. No feast could feel more satisfying after another peaceful day upon the road. As the sun slowly slips toward the horizon, the courtyard begins to glow with warm light. Oil lamps are lit one after another beneath the covered walkways. Their gentle flames dance quietly against pale stone walls. Travelers sit together upon woven rugs. Some quietly mend clothing. Others polish leather saddles. One elderly merchant carefully counts small copper coins before placing them into a cloth pouch. Nearby, a young boy listens with wide eyes as his grandfather points toward the evening sky. Perhaps he is naming the stars. Perhaps he is telling stories of journeys made long ago. The words are too distant to hear. Only the gentle rhythm of the conversation reaches you. High above, a flock of swallows circles gracefully over the courtyard, then disappears toward the fading light. The day's warmth slowly leaves the stones beneath your feet. The air grows pleasantly cool. You walk to the outer wall of the caravanserai. Beyond it, the countryside rests peacefully beneath the evening sky. Fields stretch toward distant hills. A narrow river reflects the last light of the setting sun. Far away, another caravan appears as tiny moving shadows upon the horizon. Even now, as darkness slowly approaches, someone else is beginning the final miles of today's journey. The thought brings a quiet smile. No traveler ever truly walks the Silk Road alone. Someone is always ahead. Someone is always behind. The road gently connects them all. As night settles over the caravanserai, the great wooden gates remain open, not as a sign of carelessness, but as a symbol of welcome. Any weary traveler arriving before dawn will still find warmth, water, food, and a peaceful place to rest. Perhaps that is one of the greatest treasures the Silk Road ever offered. Not gold, not silk, but kindness freely given to strangers far from home. The stars begin appearing once again, one by one, just as they have every night of your journey. Tomorrow, the road will continue, but tonight, the quiet courtyard becomes the whole world. Morning returns once more. The eastern sky slowly brightens, not all at once, but with the quiet patience that every dawn seems to possess. The stars fade one by one. The lamps within the caravanserai are gently extinguished. Their work is finished until another evening arrives. A cool breeze carries the scent of fresh bread from the kitchen. Someone is already preparing breakfast. A kettle begins to sing softly above a small fire. Nearby, the camels awaken in their own unhurried way. One stretches its long neck toward the morning sky. Another shakes its thick coat, sending tiny specks of dust dancing through the first rays of sunlight. The courtyard slowly comes to life, not with noise, but with familiar routines. Blankets are folded. Water skins are filled. Leather straps are tightened once again. The road is waiting, and so the journey continues. Outside the caravanserai, the morning light spills across the fields. Tiny drops of dew sparkle like scattered pearls upon the grass. A pair of swallows glide silently overhead. The world feels wonderfully fresh, wonderfully still. As you walk, you begin thinking about all the people you have quietly met along the way. The baker rising before dawn, the shepherd watching his flock from the hillside, the scribe patiently copying each page, the potter shaping clay with steady hands, the children laughing beside the river, the old merchant sharing stories beneath the stars. None of them believed they were changing history. They were simply living ordinary days. And yet, it was people just like these who gave the Silk Road its true importance. History often remembers emperors, generals, kings, queens, but the Silk Road belonged just as much to ordinary travelers, to people who loaded camels before sunrise, who repaired worn sandals, who baked bread, who stitched torn clothing by the light of an oil lamp, who offered directions to strangers, who welcomed weary travelers into quiet courtyards. The road was built as much by kindness as it was by stone. A gentle breeze stirs the tall grass beside the path. You notice wildflowers blooming once again. Some are bright yellow, others pale blue. Tiny white blossoms sway together with every passing breath of wind. No one planted them here. They simply found a place where they could grow. The thought lingers for a while. Perhaps ideas travel in much the same way. A story told beside one campfire may be repeated beside another many weeks later. A new recipe shared over supper may become part of another family's table. A clever invention, a poem, a song, a way of caring for the sick, a different method of building houses. None of these traveled alone. People carried them patiently, quietly, across mountains, across rivers, across deserts. The Silk Road became a bridge, not only between places, but between hearts and minds. The afternoon passes gently. Clouds drift lazily across the open sky. Their shadows wander slowly across the hills. The caravan pauses beside a small stream, not because anyone is tired, simply because the water is cool, the grass is soft, and there is no reason to hurry. You sit beneath a broad tree. Its leaves rustle quietly overhead. The stream continues its endless journey toward distant rivers. You wonder how many travelers rested beneath this very tree. Perhaps hundreds, perhaps thousands. Some may have stayed only a few minutes. Others may have lingered for an afternoon. The tree remembers none of their names, yet it welcomed every one of them with the same cool shade. As the sun begins its slow descent, the caravan rises once more. The familiar rhythm returns. Footsteps, camel bells, the whisper of the breeze. Everything feels comfortably familiar now. The road no longer seems long. It simply feels like home. The day unfolds quietly, much like the many days that came before it. The caravan continues across the gentle countryside, moving beneath an endless sky. Fields stretch toward distant hills. Small streams weave through the landscape like silver threads. The familiar sounds remain close beside you. The soft footsteps of the camels, the occasional creak of leather, the whisper of grass moving in the breeze. After so many miles, these sounds no longer feel separate. They have become part of the journey itself, part of you. The road rises gently. From the crest of a low hill, you pause for a moment and look back. The landscape stretches across the horizon. Rivers, fields, villages, distant roads winding toward places unseen. Somewhere beyond those horizons lie the mountains you crossed, the oasis where you rested, the great city of Samarkand, the quiet library, the markets, the caravanserais, the countless faces you encountered along the way. You cannot see them now, yet somehow they feel closer than ever. The caravan moves onward. A flock of birds drifts across the afternoon sky. Their shadows slide silently across the earth below. For a while, you simply watch them. Their journey seems effortless, guided by currents of air invisible to the eye. Perhaps travelers are not so different. The road carries them forward, one day at a time, one step at a time, without ever revealing the entire path ahead. The afternoon passes peacefully. The sun begins its slow descent toward the western horizon. The light changes. The bright colors of midday soften. Everything becomes warmer, gentler, golden. The caravan follows a narrow trail beside a broad river. Its surface reflects the sky like polished glass. Occasionally, a fish breaks the surface. A circle of ripples spreads outward, then disappears. The water returns to perfect calm. Nearby, tall reeds sway softly in the evening breeze. The sound is almost like a whisper, a quiet conversation between the wind and the river. As sunset approaches, the caravan stops one final time, not because the travelers are exhausted, not because the animals can go no farther, simply because this place feels right. A wide meadow stretches beside the river. Wildflowers dot the grass. Ancient trees offer gentle shade. The horizon remains open in every direction. It is the sort of place that invites stillness, the sort of place that asks nothing from anyone. The camp is prepared slowly, almost ceremonially. Blankets are spread. A small fire is lit. Tea is brewed. The camels settle into the grass. Everything happens with the calm familiarity of a routine practiced many hundreds of times. Then, the sun touches the horizon. The world seems to pause. Golden light washes across the meadow. The river glows like liquid amber. The leaves of the trees shimmer in the evening air. For a few moments, no one speaks. There is nothing that needs to be said. Some sights are complete all by themselves. You watch the last edge of the sun slowly disappear. The sky becomes orange, then pink, then deep shades of purple and blue. The first evening star appears, exactly as it did on countless nights before, exactly as it will on countless nights to come. A gentle feeling settles over the camp, not sadness, not excitement, something quieter, a sense of gratitude for the road, for the journey, for the simple beauty of ordinary days. Many travelers spend their lives rushing toward destinations. Yet the Silk Road has a different lesson. The road itself was always the treasure. The conversations, the shared meals, the quiet evenings, the stars, the kindness of strangers, the endless landscapes unfolding one after another. These were the things that remained in memory long after the journey ended. The fire crackles softly. Darkness gathers slowly around the meadow. Above, the stars begin their patient return. Tomorrow, the journey will reach its final chapter, but tonight there is only the river, the fire, the cool evening air, and one last peaceful sunset fading into memory. Morning comes quietly, as it always has. A soft light spreads across the eastern sky. The stars slowly surrender their place to another peaceful dawn. The campfire has become a bed of warm ash. A thin ribbon of smoke rises gently into the still morning air. The river beside the meadow flows exactly as it did yesterday, exactly as it did long before your journey began, exactly as it will long after today's footsteps have faded. You wake slowly. There is no rush, no schedule waiting. Only another beautiful morning on an ancient road. The grass is cool with dew. Small birds greet the sunrise from the branches overhead. Somewhere nearby, a kettle begins to warm over a newly lit fire. The familiar scent of tea drifts through the camp. It feels comforting now. Almost like home, the travelers move quietly. Blankets are folded one last time. The camels stretch their long legs after the night's rest. Leather straps are checked with practiced hands. Nothing has changed, and yet everything feels different. Perhaps because the road has quietly changed you. When this journey began, you noticed every sound, every bell, every footprint, every new landscape. Now, the sounds have become familiar companions. The bells no longer seem distant. The footsteps feel steady. The wind carries the same gentle voice it has carried since the day you left Chang'an. You have learned its language. It speaks without words. The caravan begins walking once more. The morning sun rises a little higher. Golden light spreads across the open countryside. Mist slowly lifts from the river. The world awakens gently around you. As you walk, you begin thinking about the road itself, not the stones beneath your feet, not the miles already traveled, but what the Silk Road truly was. It was never simply a road from one place to another. It was thousands of roads, thousands of journeys, millions of ordinary mornings just like this one. Countless travelers walked these paths, merchants carrying silk, monks carrying wisdom, doctors carrying medicines, artisans carrying tools, musicians carrying songs, children carrying dreams of distant places they had never seen. Each traveler added something small to the world, a story, a kindness, a conversation, a new idea shared beside an evening fire. Most of their names have been forgotten. History remembers only a few. Yet without the countless ordinary people, the Silk Road would never have become what it was. Perhaps that is one of history's quietest lessons. The world is changed far more often by ordinary people doing ordinary things than by famous names written in great books. You smile softly. The thought feels peaceful. Ahead, the road curves gently around a line of tall trees. Beyond them, the path disappears from sight. No one seems worried. The caravan simply follows, just as yesterday, just as tomorrow. Some roads do not need to reveal where they are leading. It is enough to trust the next step. The breeze moves through the branches. Leaves shimmer in the morning light. A butterfly drifts lazily across the path before disappearing into the wildflowers. The camels continue at their familiar pace. Step, step, step. Somewhere behind you, another caravan is beginning its own journey. Somewhere ahead, another traveler is arriving at a welcoming gate before sunset. The road is never empty. It simply carries different footsteps through different generations. You stop for one final moment, turning gently. You look back. The morning sun now stretches across the landscape. The hills, the rivers, the fields. Everything is quiet. Everything feels timeless. Then you turn forward once more. The caravan continues, slowly, pontly, without hurry. Its figures become smaller against the open land. The bronze bells grow softer, the footsteps quieter. The road stretches toward a distant horizon, touched by morning light. Soon the travelers are only small shapes upon the ancient path, then only silhouettes, and finally they disappear beyond the gentle curve of the road. But somehow it never feels like goodbye, because somewhere just beyond the horizon, the journey continues. The campfires are still being lit. Tea is still being poured into warm clay cups. Camels are still walking beneath the endless sky. The stars still rise each evening. The rivers still flow. The wind still whispers across the grass. And the ancient Silk Road, in stories, in memory, and perhaps now, in your dreams, continues its quiet journey. May your own path be gentle. May your nights be peaceful. And wherever tomorrow leads, may you always find a warm fire, a quiet road, and a place to rest beneath the stars. Good night, sleep well.